Brothers, bust out the Grey Poupon because today we're getting fancy. We're talking fragrances that are gonna have you smelling like you're living a millionaire budget, but in reality, all these fragrances are cheap, which proves once and for all that you don't necessarily have to spend a ton of money to smell like you did. All of these are gonna be linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. Also gonna be doing a little giveaway as well. A couple fragrances that are gonna have that expensive vibe to them. Did I say these are linked in the description? I don't remember.
They are though.
Let's begin with kind of a bonus fragrance. This is one I picked up recently at Burlington, and it is none other than Guess Tobacco and Amberwood. Guess Originals, it says, because apparently they have fragrances that are not originals or something. And this is a really interesting fragrance. It was like $19, $19.99 technically, so right at 20 bucks. It has somehow a magnetic cap, like, what? The weird cheap Guess fragrance busting out the magnets? Okay. And I'm glad that I bought this one without looking it up first, because on Fragrantica, it gets a lot of hate. Bunch of people not really vibing with this. And I'll tell you why I think that is. I think for younger guys, this fragrance probably doesn't work out as well. But guys middle-aged and older, especially if you like fragrances with a slight niche lean to them, this stuff's actually pretty good. Now there is a good amount of tobacco in here. Got a little smokiness to it. There's also saffron, there's tonka, there's amberwood, or at least there is in the name. If you look on Fragrantica, it says there's like sandalwood and no amberwood, but who's really counting? Who is wrong here? Is it you? Now this stuff is strong. It actually projects really well and lasts very well for a Guess fragrance that's 20 bucks. But like I said, it has definitely more of this like middle-aged, somewhat niche leaning vibe to it. Actually, some people have compared it to the smell of a very expensive Byredo, which is tobacco mandarin. And it's kind of in that wheelhouse. So it becomes a fragrance that for some people, they would pick this up for 20 bucks and be mind blown at what they're getting. But if you're a younger guy looking for something that's like a really sweet, attention grabbing kind of fragrance, very vanilla forward, you might smell this and be like, gross. For who this stuff works for though, absolutely killer for 20 bucks. After that, let's move on to Mercedes-Benz Le Parfum. Most of the time nowadays, when you hear Mercedes-Benz and fragrance in the same sentence, you think Mercedes-Benz Club Black, right? That's the one everybody knows, that's the one everybody talks about, but this one is very good as well. It is another fragrance that has a little more of a particular lean to it as far as who's gonna wear it, but in terms of the quality versus the price, amazing. It's another fragrance that's more of a particular type of scent profile. It's not gonna work for absolutely everybody, but in terms of the quality that you get versus the price you pay, it is killer. It smells a little similar to Tom Ford's Tuscan leather and also ombre leather, because ombre leather kind of smells similar to Tuscan leather. So the violet in here is what's gonna give you that leather kind of accord. There's also oud in the base, amber, vetiver, saffron, which works together very well, gives a nice little bit of sweetness. Classy, sophisticated, refined, perfect for fall and winter time. Let's go with a clone up next because they're very cheap. This one is Rayhaan Terra, which is a newer clone, in my opinion, the best Rayhaan so far. And this smells similar to Outlands by Amouage, but with a little bit of a twist. So it does not have quite the same wallop of incense that Outlands has. Instead, this one is a little bit smoother, a little bit sweeter. The quality, amazing for the price point. I think the stuff absolutely rips. Another one, better for fall and winter time, smells way more expensive than it costs. There's of course also Ramad Oriental by Rabiat Prestige. I bring that up because that one is a little more incense forward. So if you're wanting that incense, you can go with that one. But if you want the one that's more wearable, the one that's potentially more of a compliment puller, if that's important to you, I think this one is that. Let's go just straight up wearability next. Okay, we're going with something that pretty much anybody can pull off. These are more fall winter time. The next one is just whenever you want. It's Ralph's Club by Ralph Lauren, just the original. And the reason just the original is because it is oftentimes dirt cheap. Like they're giving this stuff away at discounters a lot of times. You can find it for under 30 bucks. That is a crazy deal. Especially nowadays where every single fragrance brand is like, what if we slowly crept up the price of literally everything until it costs a house to buy a bottle? Obviously exaggeration, unless you're living in like a very small house made for gnomes.
It's especially small. So small.
But the prices, they do keep a creeping. So if you can get something that you can wear whenever you want from a brand that people know that's a compliment puller, that has a nice classy edge to it, but also can be worn casually, I mean, I say go for it. That's what this is. It's made by Dominique Ropion, who's the same perfumer that does the YSL Y line of fragrances. So there's like a faint similarity between this one and the Y line, though this one is going to be a less sweet, a little more aromatic, a little classier overall. It's one that some people are gonna go, you know, Ralph's Club, that stuff is, you know, it's not exciting enough. But in terms of smelling well put together, well balanced, and being enormously versatile on the cheap, this is one of the best things you can get. Yes. The next fragrance is a doozy, one that I absolutely adore that has unfortunately gone up a little bit in price as time has gone on and people have found out about it, but it still is quite affordable overall. But before we get to that one, codes. Look at that, look at them codes. Look at that, would you look at it? Just a whole bunch of different codes that you can use to save yourself money across different websites like Gift Express, JOMASHOP, Fragflex, and more. So if you're shopping for fragrances, which if you are, you should be using these stores to save yourself some money anyway, because most of them are discounters, but you can use those codes to save yourself even more money. The next fragrance is none other than Sculpture Parfum. This is one I do like to bring up because I think what it offers at the price point that it's at is sick. It smells similar to Bond No. 9's Lafayette Street, which is very pricey because Bond, everything that they do basically is very pricey, even at discounters. And this right here is gonna give you a very similar vibe to Lafayette Street, only much more affordable. And it's a fragrance that realistically, not many people know. I mean, people who are into fragrances know about it, but nobody else really does. Presentation looks decent. It looks different at least, quite unique. Packs a punch, lasts a long time, projects really well, and has that nice balance of freshness and sweetness that Lafayette Street has, which is why it's one of the most popular Bond No. 9s out there, period. It gives you versatility, performance, and compliment factor. This does the same thing, just for way less. And in my opinion, it does not smell any more synthetic than the Bond No. 9, which a lot of you out there are like, well, yeah, it's a Bond No. 9. Like, smelling kind of synthetic is part of their whole vibe, which is kind of my point. You can get that and it does not smell any more synthetic. It's the same thing. Well, it's not the same thing. It's not the exact same fragrance, but you see what I'm saying. Gotta be like real particular, you know. Up next is this one, Muharib by Maison Asrar. Smells quite similar to Xerjoff Naxos, which Naxos smells amazing. One of the best tobacco scents ever. It has this fantastic blend of fresh and deep and sweet and classy all at once. So you get this really nice lavender off the top. Again, fresh, masculine, classic. Then as it dries down, tobacco comes out, this kind of honeyed tobacco, but it's not overdone with the honey, so it doesn't come across headache-inducing or too thick and heavy. And you end up with this perfectly balanced scent that during fall, winter, and spring will have you smelling absolutely amazing. And this right here gives you the exact same vibe, only way less. And it is very strange to me that Naxos has been a hit for years and years and years and years. And just recently, phone brands have been like, we should maybe do that. So you've had a few come out in rapid succession, one right after the other. Fierte Luna by French Avenue, also fantastic. And then there's this new one by Atrelia, Magma Ember Dusk. I will say that for me, Magma Ember Dusk probably would be in third, but for some people they might like that one more. It's got kind of a different take. Instead of being a one-to-one with Naxos, that one has some powdery notes to it, has a little more of a floral influence, and kind of a different type of sweetness, like almost a little syrupy when you first spray it on compared to Naxos. So that one, the Atrelia, definitely the most different of the three. But I think for my own taste, wanting something a little closer to Naxos, a little less powdery and everything, I'm going with this one, or Fierte Luna. All right, I'm gonna get beat up over the next one. That's okay. It is Intenso by Dolce & Gabbana. Little old bottle, also got a big one. Oh, wait, what? And this one is kind of like right on that precipice of cheapness. You know, it's like between 40 and 50 a lot of places, and if you get a really big bottle, it can go up above 70 even. It used to be cheaper. It used to be well cheaper. But the price has slowly crept up. And that's not because it's selling like hotcakes, don't get me wrong. This is the type of fragrance for somebody who just wants to smell quintessentially, classically masculine. in a way. Lavender, clary sage, even kind of a hay note, tobacco, sandalwood, cypress, a bunch of different notes. It does smell quite similar to the original Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme and also the original Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, the 1994 iteration before it got switched up in terms of presentation and smell and everything. Now, the performance is not as beast as you would expect. It's named Intenso. You know, it's got eau de parfum right there on the front. It has all of those masculine notes that you're going to think, it's gonna be a beast. Not really. Performance is so-so. Yeah, for me, it's basically completely average. But when you compare it to all the big time fragrances coming out nowadays, like the really strong ones, it's gonna be way weaker than those. But as I said, this is just a nice, classically masculine fragrance. Definitely going to appeal more to middle-aged guys than older. It smells like you have money. It smells well put together. You know, it doesn't have to scream to get attention because it already knows what it has going on. It's that type of scent. Let's go next with this, Vulcan Black Friday limited edition. Or just Vulcan Black. I'm assuming at some point this is just gonna be like just Vulcan Black, right? I can't imagine that they're going to immediately discontinue it right after Black Friday. I mean, they could. I just don't know that that's what's gonna happen. In terms of scent, it is similar to Deified by Xerjoff, part of their Tony Iommi collaborations, hence the blacked out bottle. It all makes sense. Main difference between this one and that one is Deified to me has a little more of a sweetness, a little more of like a fruitiness off the top. This one leans into that leather much earlier, and it is strong. This stuff is a monster. It basically is just full on extrait de parfum power. Like you spray this stuff on, it projects, it lasts. I sprayed this on side by side a few times when I was comparing it to the Xerjoff, and this stuff was right there with it, if not actually outperforming it. So we go from one that's definitely a little bit meeker to one that is just absolutely unchained. Vulcan Black is a monster. Go from one black bottle to another. This one is Bentley for Men Absolute. Now, everybody knows when it comes to Bentley for Men Intense. Right, that's the one that's been talked about forever. Yes, quality-wise for what you pay, really, really good stuff. But Bentley for Men Absolute, just as good in terms of quality versus price. Now it smells similar to another fragrance, which is Gucci Pour Homme 1, which is discontinued and very expensive nowadays. In terms of notes, this one has olive banana as papyrus, cedar, pink pepper as well. Very classy. A little bit smoky, woodsy. Some people might say a little bit papery, the way that it comes across, but in a very, very elegant way. The longevity here, really nice, sticks around for a long time. Maybe doesn't scream in terms of projection. It's definitely weaker than this one, but it sticks around a good amount of time. So you get a good usability out of it. Fall, winter, spring, this stuff will have you smelling like $1 million. And it is obviously way easier to get your hands on than Gucci Pour Homme 1. Unfortunately. But don't worry, with how everything is going right now, Gucci will bring back Gucci Pour Homme 1. They'll keep the name, they'll slightly change the bottle, and it will smell absolutely nothing like the original. That's apparently a trend now. I'm halfway joking, but Polo Red Extreme, they came out with like a new version of that, and it's not the same. And then they also came out with Perry Ellis Oud Black Vanilla Absolute. Slightly different bottle, completely different fragrance. And then like a couple years ago, they came out with Candies. You remember Candies? They came out with a new Candies, completely different fragrance. Although apparently that fragrance, the new one, is named Candies Legacy. Even though when it first launched, it was just Candies. It was what it was everywhere. And then they were like, oh, I can see where this might be an issue and people think this is the same thing. Let's make the name Candies Legacy. Nobody's buying it. The fragrance, I mean. It sucks. After that, let's talk this. This is Sharaf Divine by Zimaya. Yes, a little Angel Share-esque, isn't it? In terms of its look. Looks more like Angel Share on the Rocks, but in fact, it smells closer to Angel Share Paradise. Maybe with a small amount of On the Rocks added in, but mainly Angel Share Paradise. So it's going to lean much more that direction, you know, the more woodsy Angel Share with that raspberry kind of vibe off the top, cognac as well. But then Sharaf Divine, maybe a little bit fresher leaning than Angel Share Paradise is. So that's where it gets that little bit of On the Rocks kind of underneath the Angel Share Paradise. But ultimately this is more an Angel Share Paradise alternative on the cheap with great quality. So it does indeed smell much more expensive than it costs. Really good quality. It actually smells much better as it matures. And the final fragrance before the giveaway, Halloween Man X. I love this stuff. Now, if you've never heard about it, you know, the name Halloween Man X, probably not going to inspire much confidence. I can only imagine talking to somebody who doesn't really know about fragrances and being like, oh, you checked out the new Halloween Man fragrance? And they're gonna be like, it's like David S. Pumpkin's fragrance? What are you talking about? Nobody's gonna buy that. It's stupid. Have you tried the new Christmas Man? The new Easter Man? It's pretty good. But yeah, Halloween Man X is legitimately pretty good. It has a strong coffee note to it, so you gotta like coffee. If you don't like the coffee in the fragrance, you're not gonna like the coffee in the Halloween Man X. Because it is a roast coffee, so you get that little bit of like burnt edge along the fragrance. There's also booze in there. There's leather. It's got a lot of different masculine notes. It smells a little similar to Ferragamo Uomo's signature, which also really good. And it's just a great change of pace fragrance for fall and winter time that is definitely quite different outside of the Ferragamo comparison. Let's do a giveaway. Mythical Griffin, yeah. French Avenue. And also Hot Leather by Gents, which is Sterling, which is Armaf. There's like all these different names. These two fragrances I would like to bestow upon one of you. They are sealed. Yes. So if you want to be entered in the giveaway, here's all you gotta do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. The comment is your entry into the giveaway. In the comment, let me know what is your go-to cheap fragrance that you think smells expensive. That's all you gotta do. I will pick a winner with random comment picker. If you are the winner, hit me up. I will ship these out to you. There's like a little ding on the side of this Mythical Griffin box, so sorry about that. It's small. The fragrance is okay. But I'll post it on the post tab of the YouTube channel. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me. Good luck with the giveaway. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.